Launched the website, we did our first post. I think it was 2 or 3 a.m. at night, and we slept and we were like, we'll wake up in the morning and we'll have hundreds of orders, and by the morning we'll be millionaires.
One bedroom was just full of boxes, the storeroom was full of boxes.
We woke up in the morning, there wasn't even a single order. Factories were not willing to trust us. We received rejections after rejections after rejections from the factories.
We hired an agency. So a lot of different styles of logos came, and they were all very cheesy. They were all wolf faces, drawings, and we were like, okay, this is not working. This is not going to work at all.
We had zero experience, zero funding, just an idea, and no clue what we are doing. But we wanted to fix one problem.
You would walk into the gym, it was all vanilla. People would be wearing just the same 2 or 3 brands, no matter what they're doing and what kind of workout they're doing. Anybody who we would talk to that we are starting a gymwear brand, that people would wear those clothes in the gym, and they were like, who wears nice clothes into the gym? You know, all of us wear like our old t-shirts and old shorts, and that's what we wear and that's what we walk, especially the men, right? That's what the gym fashion was. You know, you would just pull out the oldest t-shirt that you have that you would not wear on the weekends, and you would wear it into the gym. Or the other skeptics were, there are such big brands out there in the market, why would somebody buy anything from SQUATWOLF? Why would they not buy from the Nikes and the Adis of the world? Why would they buy from you? So there were a lot of skeptics, and that made us doubt ourselves as well. Like, are we really on the right track? Are we really doing the right thing? But, you know, we saw the gap. We saw that this is not happening. If you look at things outside of the Middle East, and if you look at things in Europe, if you look at things in North America, this is not what is happening. Actually, people are looking for newer brands. People are looking for brands that specialize in their sport, and that's what they want to wear. Because they want to come across that I'm serious about the kind of training I'm doing. So they would wear a brand that's really specialized into CrossFit. They would wear a brand that has nailed yoga. They would wear a brand that has nailed weightlifting and training. Because they want to wear that brand because they want to send a message to the people that I'm serious about the sport that I'm in, or I'm serious about the kind of training I'm in. There wasn't anything like this over here in this region, and that's where we felt like, okay, there's something like this missing over here, and both of us really wanted to challenge the status quo. We were like, why isn't there anything that's local, a brand that this region can call its own, a brand that is born out of this region, that really understands the needs of the athletes of this region.
It was after, I think, 4 years of starting our careers. Waj was first time in a job. So he was working for someone else, because when he graduated, he started working with his friends and started 3 startups, tech startups in Pakistan. It was the first time because I had moved to Dubai, and we were engaged when I moved to Dubai, and I liked it over here a lot. So then, you know, I told him, why don't you move over and come over to Dubai? And he moved. So this was the first time he was working with the co-founders of fitness entertainment business, and he was enjoying. For the first time in his life, like, he never imagined himself working for someone else, and he was having a good time. He was like, you know, I'm like settling down, I'm learning about Dubai, I'm learning about the culture and everything. And I had this idea, and I was like, Waj, I see you being an entrepreneur. Like, always I've seen you as an entrepreneur, and I will see you as in the future as well.
Yeah, just pushing me into it again. It was like, you know, we're built to do something bigger. So let's think about it, and she was the one who really pushed us into, you know, starting something of our own.
I would ask him, you know, what is your life goal? What do you want to achieve?
You know, not a lot of people know, but I think it's a great opportunity to share this, you know, with everyone out there, that actually it was her idea to come up with an idea of SQUATWOLF.
I am a crazy optimist. And I think I had for a very long time this uninformed optimism that we will make it. We will make it, there is no other option.
But it wasn't easy. I think if it was easy, everybody would do it.
We're looking for a name, for a name that has a ring to it, and it has the community element. So community was very important because this was another gap that we identified, that for every sport there is a community, but then for gym goers there is no community element. Like nobody's working on this side of the fitness industry. The community element was transformed into pack element. So wolf is a pack animal, and that's how we came up with the wolf side of the name. And then squat is the most effective exercise. So it engages most of the muscles in the body. So, and it had a ring to it. So SQUATWOLF, right? So we came up with the name. And then the next stage was to come up with the logo. And then we hired an agency randomly from freelancer.com, I think. And we gave them the assignment to come up with a logo of SQUATWOLF. So like anyone who would think of SQUATWOLF would be a wolf face. So a lot of different styles of logos came, and they were all very cheesy. They were all wolf faces, drawings. And we were like, okay, this is not working. This is not going to work at all. So we looked at one of the logos and we started literally removing the face. Once we were done, it was just the eyes left. That's how the logo was born. It's the wolf eyes with the face removed.
In the early days, factories were not willing to trust us. Like, we would send them our CADs and we would ask them, do this sample for us. I remember still in the early days, the factories wouldn't entertain, because there wasn't anyone reaching out to them from Middle East or UAE specifically to the factories in Asia, asking them that we are starting the next big activewear brand or the gymwear brand in the world. Please help us create these samples. We received rejections after rejections after rejections from the factories. They wouldn't even answer our emails. They would just say no, you don't have enough quantities, you do not have enough capital.
They were not even used to of getting any requests or inquiries from Middle East at all. Like they would be like, okay, you're calling us from Dubai? Dubai? Nobody calls from Dubai. Like there were no brands, zero local brands. And we were the first ones who were contacting these factories, and we were naive, we were kids. I was 26, Waj was 27 years old when we were starting SQUATWOLF, and we would just pick up the phone and reach out to the factories that are making for big brands out there.
After like months and months of trying to find a factory, we felt like we need to give up, because I don't think so we can ever do it. I don't think so anybody would trust us. Unfortunately, one factory in China replied and said, okay, we're going to do the samples. They saw the vision, they saw what we were trying to do, they read the email, they saw the first collection, they're like, okay, we're going to support you. They did the samples, they were horrible. And we again felt like we need to give up, because it's just not gonna happen. But after months and months of trying to get that sample right, to get that product right, it was just not working. So we got our first set of samples. We were, finally after 6 months of back and forth, we were happy with it.
And one thing that we were very clear on was the quality. Because we were like, okay, this is Dubai. People will not accept any brand, any product that is below par. So we have to get the product right. It has to be really good quality. We were obsessed, like quality has to be really strong.
We went into production. We invested all our savings into it. I still remember we were really nervous and the quantities were huge. Like, how are we going to manage it?
Our house turned into a warehouse. Boxes everywhere. One bedroom was just full of boxes. We had the e-commerce shoot in the living room. The first photo shoot was e-commerce first, because we had to get the website up. And it was one of our PT friends. We asked him, would you be okay to model for us? And he accepted. And I had a friend who was a photographer. So he also accepted to work just for free to support us, to support the brand. So it was in the living room, we did the whole setup, and the PT friend that we got in as a model, his mother came because we couldn't afford a stylist. So his mother was actually putting the makeup on her son and, like making sure that he's looking all good. And then me and Waj were also helping out with everything. So the same day we did the campaign shoot as well. And the campaign shoot took place in the parking of our building. That was also very funny, because then, we would go back up, change, go back down, do the shoot hiding from the security, because it's obviously not allowed to shoot with camera. But yeah, I still remember it was so good, and like we were just trying to make things work with very, very low resources, almost nothing.
first time when we created the website, it was on WooCommerce. So WooCommerce was basically developed out of WordPress, which is a blogging platform. So that's what I was comfortable with. I was like, we're going to develop the website on WooCommerce. If I tell anyone right now that we started SQUATWOLF on WooCommerce, they'll be like, who starts an e-commerce website on WooCommerce? Like, who does that? Well, we did it. So what we did was we started a pre-order campaign with our products even before we had the products. We went out with a message that we are born in Dubai and engineered for gym. That's the message. That was the message on our socials. That was the message on our website. That was the message on our ads. And we went out to the community. We're born in Dubai, engineered for gym. We don't have the products right now. The products will be available in 1 month's time. But do you want to be the first ever people who own the first ever piece of clothing from the first ever homegrown brand from Dubai? We remember it was 16th of May. We got our entire website ready, all the social media ready, everything was ready. We launched the website, we did our first post, we launched our ads on Instagram, and we said, we're ready for the world and we want to take the orders. By the time we launched the website and did everything, I think it was 2 or 3 a.m. at night, and we launched everything. We went to sleep really fulfilled that we finally launched this beast. We slept and we were like, we'll wake up in the morning and we'll have hundreds of orders from all around the world and we'll be happy, and by the morning we'll be millionaires. We woke up in the morning, there wasn't even a single order.